Hi, welcome to A Course in Miracles workbook class, brought to you from the Little Garden in Sedona, Arizona, USA.
So good morning, Jan. What are we doing today?
Today we're doing the review of I Place the Future in the Hands of God. It's lesson 214 in A Course in Miracles workbook.
213.
No,
Oh, 214. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Would you rather be right or happy?
Today is Jan's birthday.
75th birthday.
She calls it the fourth quarter,
I'm starting my fourth quarter.
but it's actually starting a new game.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because when we place the future in the hands of God, the past is gone too. You know, it's over. It's done. And the future is, we don't know what it is, but we don't have to control it.
So, yeah, it was really an important idea in this lesson that, we're always hearing come into the present moment, come into the present. That's where everything happens. So the question is, how do I come into the present?
Yeah.
And what he's saying in this lesson is that, let me read it. It says, yet in this world, this progression of past, present, and future still seems real. And so you're not asked to understand the lack of sequence really found in time. You are but asked to let the future go and place it in God's hands. And you will see by your experience that you've laid the past and the present in his hands. So this is where we can come in touch with our emotions. If I have anxiety about the future, if I have confusion about the future, if I don't understand, he's saying by placing that future in the hands of God, all the rest of time is let go. And then you're just in the Holy Spirit's hands.
And you, this course, we've been doing this course for many decades. And you told me this morning, just before we started, the insight that by placing the future in the hands of God, also the past, therefore, goes in the hands of God. That is the way to get to the holy instant.
Yeah.
Okay. No wonder it says in the text, don't try to prepare for the holy instant. You can't prepare for it. You just stop right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen to what he's talking, listen to the description that he's talking about when we place the future in the hands of God. And this is from the first paragraph in the original 194 lesson. So he says, I place the future in the hands of God. Today's idea takes another step towards quick salvation, and a giant stride it is indeed. So great the distance that it encompasses, it sets you down just short of heaven with the goal in sight and the obstacles behind. By placing the future in the hands of God,
the goal in sight is
just short of heaven, and the obstacles are gone. Your foot has reached the lawns that welcome you to heaven's gate, the quiet place of peace where you await with certainty the final step for God. How far are we progressing now from earth? How close are we approaching to our goal, and how short the journey still to be pursued, all with exclamation marks. So this is a very, very powerful lesson for us to take our present anxieties, our present concerns, whatever confusion we may have about the future. And if we put that in the hands of God, then all of time no longer binds us.
Yeah.
Because then we're in the Holy Spirit's hands.
Yeah.
Just short of heaven.
I think this is very interesting. And to me, it's interesting coming up on a significant birthday. So you could imagine for yourself that, you are at a crossroads here. I look at it as like, okay, so maybe there are 4 quarters in this lifetime. Maybe I'll get through the last 25 years. Maybe I'll go into overtime. I don't know. But the 4th quarter is the only one that's important. And you squeeze that down to this moment is the only one that's important. Right now is our 4th quarter. Mm-hmm. Right now is the moment where we can be right there in joy.
That's the thing about Jan, is that you are always continuing setting up challenges, letting yourself be available for whatever Holy Spirit asks for you. I mean, that's what stops aging. As long as we continue to extend ourselves, as long as we continue to challenge ourselves,
Right.
to grow, to be, different, to be more in line with the truth of who we are, that's what keeps us young.
I was thinking recently about my mother, and how she just like, she would tell you a story from the past if you asked, like what happened during the Depression or something like that. She'd tell you, but she never talked about the past. She didn't go into nostalgia. She didn't go into stories about the past. It was always like, what's happening right now? How can I be helpful? How can I be helpful right now? My neighbor needs something, I need to call somebody, that kind of thing. And she was very young when she died. I think she was 94 when she died. So
Very
yeah,
young.
because it's the present moment. Youth is the being in the present moment, isn't it?
Yeah, you're very young.
And this is an interesting thing. I know we're going off on age, but everybody gets older, so
Well, we're really talking about time.
really talking
And that's
about,
what this lesson is about.
okay, so what I noticed is a temptation to say, oh, I'm getting older, maybe I shouldn't do this. I'm getting older, maybe that would be dangerous. And it's like, says who? This is like a hypnosis of time. The Course says your body will be in perfect condition to do whatever is asked, right? So if we program ourselves, ooh, poor me, and then it becomes like, oh, I got to take care of my body. I can't pay attention to other people and what they could benefit from our interaction, or how I could love and serve them. No, I got to take care of this body. Ooh, that's death. I don't want to go there. I mean, I'll go there when it's time, I mean.
Right. And he's so clear that if we solve this one problem
Of time.
of feeling like we've lost love.
Yeah.
When we're anxious, when we're upset, when we're worried, it's hard to believe that love is real.
Right.
And so he's just saying that this very anxiety can be resolved when? Right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I have the ability to look into my mind,
Yeah.
to see what's going on.
Right.
I can see how I'm thinking
Right.
in this moment, and I can change how I'm thinking.
Right.
So listen, if I may,
Yeah.
just read. So listen to the further description of how powerful this idea is. He says, this is in paragraph 2. He says, accept today's idea, and you have passed all anxiety, all pits of hell, all blackness of depression, thoughts of sin, and devastation brought about by guilt. Accept today's idea, and you have released the world from all imprisonment by loosening the heavy chains that lock the door to freedom on it.
That would be the belief that what happened in the past is real and can hurt me, and my guilt is a burden that I have to carry forever.
And my karma is going to catch up
Yeah.
to me, because God knows how I lived in the past,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you are saved, and your salvation becomes a gift to the world because you have received all anxiety, all pits of hell, all blackness of depression, all thoughts of sin, and all thoughts of guilt gone if I place the future in the hands of God.
I had that experience this morning, and I can't even remember what it was, but I thought about something I did, something I said. Oh, yeah, I remember now what it was. I said something like, okay, this is in the 1980s. Do you ever do this kind of thing? Like go back 40 years to something that you did that might have hurt somebody. And I remember that, and I thought, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. And then I thought of the lesson. Right now, I can put the future in God's hands, and God is saying, you're safe. You're right here. We're right here with me. And I can put the past into nothingness, into oblivion. And I thought about what we call the page 90 prayer,
Yeah.
where you return your mind to the place where the situation happened and you make another choice. So I thought about talking to that person and saying something that was encouraging rather than discouraging. And then I let it go. I placed the future in God's hands. But, time isn't real. And I had a really good example from my son. If you're a parent, it's a machine for guilt. You just never do things right. And I had this burden for a long time about something that happened in our interaction when he was a teenager. And not too long ago, he told me the story. From his point of view, it was completely different. It was like, all I could say was, I am so glad that you remember it that way. I mean, what do I think is real, right? I thought my guilt was real. He thought I was a saint. Ha! What? Come on. The past isn't real. We're making it up. We're holding on to it based on what we want. Do I want to feel guilty? Do I want to feel separate? Do I want to feel in pain? Ego is telling me that that's what I should do. That's how I should feel. And it's not real.
See, and that's what we can catch moment to moment.
Yeah.
We can catch, how am I thinking in this situation?
Right.
What is really going on?
Yeah.
What am I saying about myself?
Yes.
And it really is a fact that at least in that moment, if we come into that present moment by putting the future in the hands, then not only are we changed, but at least as long as we stay in that moment, everything changes.
Yeah.
The world's completely different.
Right.
Because what we've done is find the universal inside of ourselves, this
Right.
Christ identity.
Right.
And now finding it here, we realize it's everywhere. So I can apply it to every situation at every point in time.
Yeah.
So he's saying, if you see the freedom that this lesson gives you, if you can really get a hold of that, you'll not avoid giving as much effort as you can.
Right.
That's what he emphasized in yesterday's All Things Are Lessons God would have you learn. You just put in the time that's necessary. You will not hesitate to put in consistent effort to make it part of you. And it becomes a thought placed in the future in hand. It becomes a thought that rules your mind, a habit in your problem-solving repertoire, a way of quick reaction to temptation. You extend your learning to the world. So he's just saying, whatever situation seems to be presenting itself to you, whatever anxieties you may have about the future, if you can place that in God's hands, then you've solved the problem of feeling like you're lost from love, because when you come into the holy instant, that's where the Holy Spirit is. That's where forgiveness is. Then I'm at peace.
Exactly.
And then I can face every situation from that standpoint of peace. Right. From the standpoint of the truth of who I am.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how big the idea is, you see.
I love the idea of what does it say? A habit in your problem-solving repertoire. This is the whole purpose of the workbook. Well, there's several that I could think of, but a major one is to give us thoughts that we can call on and use whenever we're, what the Course calls tempted, whenever we're in pain, whenever we are in anxiety, worry, fear, sadness, depression, any of that. There's a lesson for you that has resonated for you. If you've done the workbook or as you're doing the workbook, it becomes more and more alive for you so that you can call these things, these lessons, as you need them. So try to build a repertoire for yourself. This is one of mine.
Yeah.
This was definitely
You know,
mine.
and that's what we, always to reinforce. Our goal is planned obsolescence.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're just showing others what we do with this material and how it works for us. But
Yeah.
each one has to develop their own problem-solving repertoire.
Right.
Because what idea jazzes me or jazzes you may not jazz somebody else.
Yeah.
But the content behind forgiveness and salvation is
Yeah.
the same for everybody.
Yeah.
But each of us has to develop our own toolbox.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get myself out of trouble? Am I waiting for a future solution
Yeah.
and thinking it'll never come? Or have I come into the present moment and said, right now I can find the peace.
Yeah.
Right now I can find the love. Right now I can find the joy. And I can share it.
Yeah, that's how we really know we've got it.
By sharing
Oh,
it.
I want to share this kind of neat concept. Did I tell them about the line and the dots? Okay.
It bears repeating.
Okay. So this is a really a metaphor that reinforces the course's thought system that you can't even know you've got it until you give it.
Yeah.
Giving is receiving. That's one aspect of that. So in geometry, a point has no dimension. Points have no dimension. They're just an anchor for a line. So if you think about individuals, as individuals, we are an illusion. The thing that's real is the love. The thing that's real is the connection.
The line
between us, right? But it takes the individual. You can't have a line without 2 points, right? So the individual is important, but is not sufficient. So you just can't find love within yourself only. You have to extend it. And as you extend it further and more, reaching more dots, the more love you have, the more flow there is.
And so that's what works for you. And I mentioned things that works for me, but each one has to then develop that.
Their own, yeah. Another one in my repertoire is the peace of God is my one goal. And I've memorized one of the prayers there. Peace of God is my one goal, the aim of all my living here, the end I seek, my purpose and my function and my life while I abide where I'm not at home.
Yeah.
So I use that one. It's like when I try to remember that one. But you all have favorites of your own. And so we're just encouraging you to build on that, to use them. And he says that today's lesson, I place the future in the hands of God. I think the implication is this one should be in everybody's repertoire.
Well, we definitely have an idea of what time is and how that it works. And
a false idea of time?
Well, the ego is always having us look to the future for a solution when the solution is in the present moment.
Right.
So if we put the future in the Holy Spirit, in God's hands, then the present moment will be at peace.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to hear, well, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to say. This is what I need to think.
Right.
Right. That's how powerful that is.
Yeah.
So in a sense, we all have some sort of concept of time. Right. It's just a question of emphasis. Like you have an emphasis, like this geometry metaphor works for you. Others may work for other people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, these other lessons, the one we're going to be doing in a few days, it can be but myself I crucify. Oh yeah. That is a really powerful one also. So whenever I'm, angry, well, who am I crucifying? The person I'm trying to project it on? No, not really. Just me. I'm the one that is hurt with my anger. Hey, we should talk about instant karma.
Yeah, we've been talking about how a holy relationship works, of course, because we believe that we're trying to understand that.
We're trying to live it.
We're trying to have a holy relationship. And one of the things that we've realized is that the intimacy of our relationship, because we share a life and we share so many things, that when we get upset with each other, then because we share so much of life, that instantly we can feel the stress of
Yeah.
judging another person.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Besides, neither of us will let the other one get away with it.
No, because the other one barks right back, right?
Right. But it's the intimacy of the relationship. And we've been thinking we can have that intimate relationship with everyone.
Yeah.
We may not share the same amount of time or things, obviously.
Yeah.
But that intimacy we can have with everyone.
And it's because of that constant connection. You know, whether it's about the bugs or the dirt on the floor, or whatever it is, whatever it's about, it's just like there's constant stuff that is a challenge, can be a challenge. And so we recognize as soon as it happens, ouch.
Yeah.
Whereas if, it's like if I've got an issue with my sister that I see once every 3 years, it's back there. It's under the rug, but instant karma is, uh-oh, I'm hurting myself right now. I'm doing this to myself right now. And I can change that thought and change the feeling right now.
All right. Do you want to open it up?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
So let's hear from you guys.
Let's stop the recording.